And joining us to discuss this is Dr. Vasif Huseynov, Head of Department at the Center of Analysis of International Relations in Baku, Azerbaijan. Hello, sir, and welcome to TVP World.
Thank you for having me.
So now, given the recent developments that we see, how can Armenia and Azerbaijan, to your mind, build mutual trust during the peace negotiations that we see unfolding?
The latest meeting in Almaty between the foreign ministers of the two countries took place in a very constructive and positive environment, as the ministers of two countries reported following the meeting. We knew little information. We got little information from the meeting, from the press release shared by the two ministries. And according to them, to the press release, they appreciated the recent agreement reached between the two sides, particularly in the area of delimitation of interstate borders. I have to mention that in April last month, after a long period of disputes, the two countries agreed to start the delimitation process, and it happened in parallel with the return of 4 non-enclave villages of Azerbaijan that were occupied by the Armenian side in early 1990s. And after a period of negotiations, the Armenian government agreed to return these villages back to Azerbaijan peacefully. And this was very historic momentum in the relations between the two countries, because it is the first time that Armenia and Azerbaijan resolved a problem, a territorial dispute, peacefully with no use of military force. And that was appreciated by the representatives of two countries, as well as by the international community, by the European Union and United States. So that's why today we are in a very historic moment in the Armenia-Azerbaijan relations. The representatives of two countries say that they are very rich to sign a peace treaty by the end of this year, despite the fact that there are some issues that still need to be agreed upon, as reported by the two ministries, foreign ministries, after the Almaty meeting. But there is a belief that now we are closer to a peace treaty than ever before.
Well, that sounds very positive, Dr. Huseynov, and let's hope this comes to a positive conclusion. Now, you did mention that there are some issues which need to be resolved before a signature can happen from both sides. Any idea what those issues are?
No, despite the fact that the press release of the two ministries mentioned that some issues still need to be resolved for a peace treaty to be signed, but they didn't disclose what these issues are. But according to our own observations, based on the earlier statements of the two countries, two governments, we can conclude that one main issue is about the existence of territorial claims in the constitution of Armenia against Azerbaijan and Turkey. According to the Armenian constitution, which was adopted in early 1990s, the Karabakh region of Azerbaijan, which Azerbaijan liberated last year in September, the constitution calls for the unification of Karabakh region of Azerbaijan with Armenia. And this Azerbaijan side wants Armenia to remove that article from the constitution in order to sign a peace treaty. But this is a lengthy law process, and that's why it is taking some time. And according to some analysts, at the moment, actually, it wouldn't be possible to sign a peace treaty, a comprehensive peace treaty, but rather some basic document in simple form on basic principles, such as recognition of each other's territorial integrity, non-use of force, and this kind of fundamental principles. And last month, in April, President Ilham Aliyev of Azerbaijan actually hinted to this possibility that we can sign some simple document based on basic principles, and later we can sort out the remaining differences, the remaining disputes, and we can sign a more comprehensive agreement.
And of course, I feel like both sides want this dispute to be over. However, not everything can be seen in bright colors. Recently, thousands of Armenians, for instance, have taken to the streets of Yerevan to protest the government's decision to cede 4 territories to Azerbaijan. So, for instance, now assuming that any kind of document would not be signed, what do you think would be the next step? What would be, let's say, the worst case scenario?
Yeah, unfortunately, as you mentioned, there are some groups, nationalist groups in Armenia who are opposing the peace process. Particularly, they got activated after the return of 4 non-enclave villages of Azerbaijan by the Armenian side. They argue that Armenian government is making unilateral concessions, and it would lead to more concessions by the Armenian side to Azerbaijan. Obviously, they are trying to take advantage of the present situation to overthrow the government of Pashinyan. After the Second Karabakh War, which took place in 2020, a lot of people, nationalist groups, including Armenian Apostolic Church, they are opposing Pashinyan. They are against his peace efforts, to be honest. And that creates some challenges to the Armenian government, because these groups are getting stronger and stronger. And Armenian Prime Minister Pashinyan hinted to the fact that they are being supported by Russia. And Russia is using these nationalist groups in Armenia in order to topple down Prime Minister Pashinyan, who is leaning more to the West. And Pashinyan, Armenian Prime Minister, argues that this has caused some problems in the relations between Armenia and Russia. That's why now Russia is trying to overthrow the Armenian government, Pashinyan's government, by using the protest against him. Of course, it creates some challenges to the peace treaty. For example, a couple of minutes ago, I mentioned the constitutional change in Armenia. It wouldn't be possible without a referendum. And we don't know whether Armenian public is going to vote for constitutional change in a referendum or not. Or even the holding of the referendum itself might lead to even more protests in Armenia, because a lot of groups, nationalist, religious groups, pro-Russian opposition parties, they are against this peace treaty with Azerbaijan, and it creates a lot of troubles in the peace process, and it brings about also uncertainty. We don't know whether a peace treaty is going to be signed by the end of this year, how the Armenian public is going to react, whether there was an external intervention, as Armenian Prime Minister said. And due to all these challenges, a peace treaty may not be possible to be signed by the end of this year. But the important thing is that now we are in a positive tone into relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. We have been able to resolve one territorial dispute peacefully, and it shows that we can build upon on this momentum, and we can resolve the remaining issues also in a peaceful, diplomatic manner.
OK, well, thank you very much for laying that out for us, Doctor. And unfortunately, we're going to have to end the conversation there, but do come and see us again soon.